Good morning.
Good morning.
So I want to start.
3 minutes.
Thank you. I just want to congratulate Mohammed for his election to this board election. And I'm honored to speak to you once again. I wanted to let you know that last time I submitted 62 voter challenges regarding individuals with no valid address that had their address as 300 College Park Avenue, which is not a valid address. It's the address of the university itself. And I didn't get a response from the director regarding that. He reminded me that I have to submit individual 257 challenges for these. I got thinking about that. That seems like a very burdensome process. If I provide the information, why wouldn't the Board of Election act on it? Because whose responsibility is it really for enforcing the guidance of our Secretary of State? He has a directive 2019-10 that expresses how you should deal with post-secondary students at universities because they're unique. They have a temporary address and they're an exception from the guidance from the Chapter 4, Section 4 of the Voter's Guide that they're allowed to vote. And I've been analyzing this data and I noticed that 6 individuals had their votes counted that have no valid address at the University of Dayton. And I'm curious, how do we verify these are valid voters if they have no valid address? Do you go to 300 College Park Avenue and ask them, is this a legitimate student? And I did find there was one individual that had cast an absentee ballot. I actually have a copy of their absentee ballot record. And it's interesting, this person, Stephen John Kluboka, who registered 5/24/2017, his ballot was accepted without a valid address. And I'm wondering, 2017, that's 8 years ago. Is this a student at the University of Dayton? I don't know. Is this person registered in a different county and voting as well? I know several individuals with invalid addresses are constantly voting. And one thing that the director was kind enough to point out is this directive says the Board of Elections finds that students are currently registered with only a school mailing address. These registrations must not be canceled. But I read further in a document that says when a student registers to vote from a student address, the address must be the student's actual residence rather than a mailing or fictitious address. So while I appreciate being pointed out that this directive says we have to let these individuals vote, that when I actually read this directive from 2019, it says several things about these registrations. That they have to maybe show a university-issued utility bill as voter identification. Now, were the poll workers trained in how to verify and say, oh, you're a student?
Thank you.
Yes.
And we appreciate you bringing the issue before us. 2 things I want to mention in what you said, and that we don't need to have a response from you at this time. We can do it after the meeting. One is we can no longer accept utility bills as identification. That's one. And number 2, when you're talking about these addresses, we also take into consideration there are homeless people who do vote and have a generic address as maybe at St. Vincent's or somewhere else that is in a group, but where they may go and they're allowed to do that. We do not, this board does not want to disenfranchise anyone from voting, but however, your issue is important and we'll follow up with you after the board meeting regarding this. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Good morning, everybody. It's the resident transplant, Allison Nickolai, 1160 Van Lake, Piqua, Ohio, from Miami County. And I presented a series of 8 sets of challenges back in February 18th. And these challenges resulted from duplicates, potential double voters that needed to be investigated further, and duplicates that need to be removed from Montgomery County because they're voting in another county. Again, you have access to the ability to match SSN as well as driver's license information. We've been a month, and I did send the board an update, a status update on Friday. I'm hoping most of you received it. For some reason, Mr. Routzon, I apologize, but every time I try to send you an email, it gets kicked back.
Okay, so sorry about that.
No, it's not a problem, just wanted to make you aware. Bottom line, I do acknowledge that the issues with respect to hyphens and apostrophes, the invalid character entries, those have been fixed. So thank you very much for that. The one thing that has not been fixed yet, and it came into play when I was researching the registration readiness, because we've got 352,000 voters coming off the voter rolls scheduled for September. If there is a double space in the name, that voter will not pull up. So those double spaces still need resolved. Bottom line, a status report as of where we are today on the duplicate voters. I submitted 102 pairs that needed removed from other county rolls because they're voting in Montgomery County. They're all still there. No updates have been done to any of the Montgomery County records indicating that they've been even updated or followed up on. I revised the 89 pairs of dupes from 90 because I did find an error. I had one pair across county between Miami County and Montgomery County listed twice. So we had 89 pairs instead of 90. Only one record was removed. And that record number is OH 00112 73714. The other 88 records still need removed from Montgomery County because they voted in another county in the 2024 election. And then we have 4 potential pair of duplicates that exist within Montgomery County. All 4 pair are still there. One does reflect an address update, but still both pairs still remain on the rolls. 0 of any of these registrations are on the registration readiness. So in other words, none of them are slated for purge.
Thank you very much. I think after the meeting, you will meet with the director and the deputy director and have a follow-up of that conversation.
Would that be fine with you, gentlemen?
Well, it's fine with me, so it's fine with
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you very much for your time.